Fantasy 5. Usually when I'm doing these videos, I'm caretaking the hearts and minds of up to 5 people at this point. 26 years ago was when I last saw a certain person in my heart. Okay? And this is the nature of it. We're going to talk about the nature of hearing messages for celebrities, right? And his vision is, I'm going to give you a good show. His vision as a guide is to make sure that we're all on the same page. Before I come out on stage, I say a little prayer, right? That's what Jon Bon Jovi would say. Say a little prayer, Brenda. In essence, her heart isn't in it, right? That's what some people will say. So whether or not this vision is all about Jon Bon Jovi versus a little bit of this and a little bit of that, right? That's what a lot of them are, because in essence, we were trying to please the crowd. That's his soul. We do a damn good show for our fans. Now, what that means is his vision is, I've never seen Jon Bon Jovi in concert. That's me. His vision is, I don't ever watch my visions. Okay? Most people don't think about what they're doing in the moment. Right? He's like, I just go for the the experience of it. Troubled minds sometimes have to come out on the stage. And in his heart, he would say, this woman is taking the blunt of the blows for the family trees. She's taking the brunt of the blows, unwinding the visions of religion for those who need it. For those of you who don't need it, we would say it's going to be an eye-opening experience when you cross over to the other side, and it's going to be beautiful for all souls. When you get to that vision of actually understanding, you don't create beauty without a guide. So that's what most people are looking for, Jesus as their guide to the other side. I want to be held in his arms. How many people know the vision that their soul greets them on the other side, caretakes their hearts during the process of judgment that they've created for themselves? It's a split second in your time. It lasts an eternity for some of us. How many people say, I'm willing to take the blows of all onto my heart? So, in essence, this is the nature of creation within the vision of, it's not division, it's the vision of all. We create together this beautiful expression of love. I also create havoc in the minds of my own soul. And in essence, that was what I was doing. I was creating havoc for a lot of people. I want to apologize for any of you that feel like you can't handle the strength and honesty of soul level understanding. If you think I'm going to bring through information related to a superstar just to please your mindset, that's one thing. If you want to understand why he was coming through for me, it's another reason altogether to cry. Right? I'm going to cry because if Brenda's bringing through the vision of someone living, what does that say about the nature of her heart when she has to hear the visions of others? And we've gone there. So that's why she has a hard time with those visions of family. And we're going to talk about that first. Because in essence, it's important to, clear the field of dreams, right? Did I plant the field of dreams that I would struggle with my family tree? How many generations back do I have to go? Right? That's why Cynthia is creating that vision of I'm going to save everybody in her books. Okay, these are the religious souls who do those visions of I'm going to, baptize everybody. That doesn't work. It works in your realm. So anyone that's Mormon gets that vision of I'm trying to save everybody. Okay? That's the savior mentality brought through. Brenda knows it as a psychological construct of you're creating more havoc in the minds and hearts of the majority who say, that's the psychology in her, say that's a drama triangle. You don't get to try to plant those seeds. It's not a rejection of the beauty of it. It's just that the nature of it is my soul is sovereign from the family tree. It's an aspect of who we are. The sovereignty of the soul means that I do my own visions. I create with everyone, but I also am planting those seeds. Why else would I say to myself, do I need to make amends with my family? It's easier if you do. And so we would say, thank you for those beautiful visions of love that are in contradiction to my own value system. Do you see why the visions of religion and society start to shake? Once you have soul embodiment come on the scene, it rocks the boat for those in religion. It almost guarantees them a vision of justifying their faith. Because they'll say, I'm not saved yet. It's not about your vision of religion that is less than. It's just that it opens up the nature of, I'll wait until I die. The soul is eternal. It doesn't die. It's about what field of vision we want to create in. The memories of my past sometimes come back to haunt me. Or sometimes I create things that I never knew. I was getting messages from family members about the things that they had thoughts about related to my own heart that broke my heart. I was fat at one point in my grandmother's eyes. Her religion dictates that my children are not valid in that realm, if you go by the good book, or at least what the men in the cloth, the men of the cloth are saying. Do I create that vision of division by saying the reality of the vision? Is that a place you want to go where you hear those visions of, I had a child out of wedlock, and now I'm in that realm of religion that says that I'm of sin, and my marriage is not valid. Therefore, my children aren't either. How many people want to go down that vision of divorce? Do you see how the Orthodox Jews are the ones going to heaven, right? That's their vision. So they live by the book. How many people want to throw the books away at some point? So, I also got that beautiful vision placed. I'm going to be honest. This will let people know some of the ideas about what a family member could or could not say. And some people will say, "Oh my God, my grandma would never say that." You would not understand. There are many grandmothers. Okay. But anyways, it's the idea of this vision that would have everyone here caretaking their hearts and everyone else's. It would literally throw people into that vision of religion in a heartbeat to know what they have to go through, right? It doesn't have to be that way. What you have to do is where you reunite with your own soul first. You get handed your hat sometimes by family members. They say, "I don't want to hear this." And you hear the visions of love. That's your soul on the line saying, you reunited with your family tree in the mind, but the heart wasn't brought into it yet. So when we go to the other side, our hearts are with us already. Okay? And we would say, I'm not here to do the destructive vision that others think it is. It's about honoring the hearts of those that want to wait to go to the other side before they... Most people are not ready to do a soul embodiment. And others will say, well, I want to, embody the vision of Christ. That's what soul embodiment is. Others are going to have those visions of divisions in that moment because in essence, it's not of mine, right? It's all of us. You call it all things uniting as one. Whatever guidance system you carry on your way is a whole different story. I went with my soul. I have my struggles with it. I'm a person as well, right? I walk with my soul. My soul often will guarantee me a place in heaven. It's almost like you can't bypass the hellish realms when you're in religion. A lot of people are going to assume that they can bypass the hellish realms by latching onto a book or two. If you do the vision of soul embodiment, or if you're a person who honestly, is working out your issues when you come here, or maybe you don't have very many, then you don't have to worry about it. Okay? But a lot of times we go through life. Brenda unwound a lot of the visions of division for a lot of us. If you want to know how to unwind a lot of the spiritual mindset as well, to where you have to say, I'm not responsible for your choices or your behavior. I take a responsibility for mine. If my grandmother lobbed crap in her mind on me related to how I am, I would say, I guess you just didn't care, right? No, those are honest assessments of where she was in that moment and where I was in that moment. Okay? Do I constantly call out to my grandmother in the moment and say, I love you, Grandma? This is not about, this is someone else's. Oh my gosh, see, people are going to assume that they have to start praying for people. And that's not it. This is a meeting of the minds and the hearts. The honest to God discussions that need to be had about what happens when you meet someone and you say, I love you by wearing a mask, right? That was a judgment call based on the higher vision of, it's not of authority. It was the vision of souls uniting in that vision of love on a global scale. My grandmother's vision would be, I wouldn't be wearing the mask either. right? She would be careful in that assessment of who she's going to trust on the other side, right? People here are worried that they're doing something wrong. Your soul always supports you. Your soul always will be there guiding you. That's the beauty of soul embodiment. It's whether it doesn't matter whether or not you embody your soul or not. You're already part of it. That's you creating that vision of heaven. Okay? So it's not your mom or your dad. Okay? They will, in essence, be greeting you because they're aspects of who you are. But they're not who you are. They're just part of who you are. So, what happens when you don't get along with a family tree member? Does it break the chain or the spiritual bond forever? Some will have that vision of my love is there forever for my family. We don't care for each other on this plane, but in essence, we still create beauty on the other side, whether or not we want to or not, right? That's a lot of garbage. And when I say that, people aren't going to literally, I know who I'm creating with when I go to various realms. And people will be like, well, you're not in the heavenly realm. No, I am not. But I get told who I am going to be seeing there when I do pass a long time from now. Sometimes I get these messages that say that it's going to be short, and that's a vengeful idea based on a book about redemption. She was hearing about redemption and revelation and whatnot. These people who, in essence, created that vision often will try to come through from the vision of where they were in that moment of creation to see if they can somehow influence the visions of love. Because most people who would create a place of hell realize that, in essence, that's their own vision of it. It's been brought back for Brenda. She had to create that vision of love out of nothing for a lot of the time for people. She literally goes to the ends of time and back sometimes to bring us the global perspective of love. Okay, that's her vision. I'm here for the long haul. She could go to that next realm of understanding, which is more in alignment with, well, Jesus Christ superstar, right? The man he's a mask, right? What mask did he wear when he was christened? We're not going to go to that vision of trying to bring back anybody else's soul. Okay, because in essence, that soul transcended itself. And that's for us here that are creating here. Now, John Bon Jovi would say, I have to be going along with that vision. Because in essence, he knows enough to know that if she's bringing forth the vision of her grandmother in the form of a devil, because in essence, that was what she was projecting outward to those of us who didn't, follow the rules of the Bible or the rules of her church or the rules of her own party or whatnot. And she's forgiven immediately on the other side. That's usually what happens. There's a forgiveness that happens. We realize, we did this and we said this and we, angered each other and we hurt each other. And that's the nature of forgiveness. And that's what Brenda did for most of her life. And then she got handed her hat by certain people who said, I don't want to know what it feels like to forgive everybody. And the thing is it doesn't have to be that way. That's just the mode that she went through. And that's why she embodied her own soul. She says it's all that and more. It's a load of crap sometimes. Literally, it can feel really, really bad sometimes to do that vision on this plane. Okay? The majority of the people want to know about Bon Jovi. So now we're going to switch gears. And this is not to anger anybody, but literally this is me being honest about how hard it can be to find that vision. Everyone assumes they go to the other side and then all is well, and then they don't have to do any work. They're bypassing. You can't bypass the vision. You just can't. You will be taken to that place of, I have to account for the things that I created here. And if you're creating that vision of division, then that's what you're going to, start to see. Most people in religion don't want to know that they're going to have to still account for their visions with anybody. It doesn't mean you go around people pleasing. You just honor their visions of love. Okay? It's all love. But soul to soul communication will kick your ass. Why do you think Brenda was people pleasing so many people? And yet these are the people that love her, right? And in their mindsets, they call her names. Or not names, but make those value judgments based on their books. I did the work that they're all wanting to do. They just don't know what they're missing. They didn't reunite with their souls yet. That's all it is. Now, what happens when you reunite with your soul? It can be a great thing. It can be a hard thing. It depends on where you are. I'm in the mindset of love. Jon Bon Jovi is coming. His vision is greeting people at the door. He says she's going to greet people at the door. And here's the thing. One aspect of him would say, I'm not sure whether she's going to go to hell or heaven. Because in essence, he knows so many people are going to be hating on her. And she's going to be like, that's okay. I'll vibrate out of their vision of it. I'm a multidimensional being of love and light. I don't have to partake in your vision of religion or rejection. Either you like me or you don't. That's the nature of badass. How many people understand that? You see, everyone in my line is thinking the same thing. I either have to be saved or I can just, let shit fly. And not have to give a shit about anybody else's feelings. We'll see where you end up. With my soul, I will know. I get guided to the places where I need to go. Not all the time. I'm not walking around in guidance mode. It comes in. There's an energy vibration that I hold for my heart. Now, John is saying, greetings at the door of hell were for his soul. If he has to go through what she has to go through, that's why he's here. He says, I'm not going to go through that. I'm going to make sure I go to the heavenly realms first. Hold on. Hold on. He's saying this is his soul. He's already higher in his mind in this plane than what many are. And that's why he can come through. Because in essence, he holds that vibration of, I'm above the vision of division. I want to be in peace in my heart. So he was bringing me those visions of, it's just your grandmother. It's not the end of the world. It's just your grandmother's vision. It's not who you are. This is how we unwind these ideas. We take on those visions of family, like that they're visions of who we are. They're not who we are. We take them on or we don't. We don't have to take those visions on of what people think of us. Now, it's a lot easier if in this world we're here to, enjoy his soul. His soul would say, I rock. I'm good. I did my work. I played the game of life. He knows exactly what she's talking about, by the way. And he's saying, I would go with her guide and her soul until she brings in someone else's vision. If she brings someone else's vision, like religious figures, then you want to start thinking about a different soul. And that's her strength. The strength is in her soul, not in the outward appearance of it. So she'll have people who will criticize her based on her, hair or makeup or whatever. And then others will say, let me listen to the vibration of his soul. I rock. I rock. So his vision is my energy is so high because of it's like he said, the anger that we had as children, we let go of as adults, right? You want to know what it's like to hear the visions of what people really thought about you in their moments? That's why she's here, to help people guide themselves to their own soul first, before they cross to that other side. Either way, it's beautiful. Here you get the more direct, information. So Scotsman, I keep hearing about the Scotsman. He's like, I can't do this work with her because she's in another field of vision. Someone else on the line is trying to project their visions of love for John Bon Jovi. And he's saying, I'm that soul. So when I create with the vision of rock stars, I know how to do that vision of it. So he is, in essence, all that and more, right? It's only part of who he is. So his family tree would come through and say, we had our worries about who he was as a child and as an adult, right? His vision was, I was always very, very aware of my family tree. He says the affairs of the mind were there in many of our souls. But I made it through that vision that I didn't have to go down the path with the idea that that's what rock stars were supposed to do. Okay, in my mind, right? And he's acknowledging that vision, right? That would be a very personal detail. It's something that's understood. He's very open about that vision of, I'm not in that vision of it. So for his soul, he would say, I did the damage in my mind, but I'm not going to claim it when I go to the other side. This is like her. She's like, I'm not going to be responsible for everybody's, visions of destruction in their mindsets. I may hear it. I don't have to acknowledge it as valid for me. And that's why he's there, and he's all, that's the way to go. I don't have to take on your visions of who you think I am. So for his soul, he said, a lot of people assumed the worst about me just because I had long hair and I was wild in their minds. I was gentle in my soul. He's gentle in his soul. And he says, I do that vision for a reason. I know that's where I want to be. It feels better. He feels better when he's with a gentle soul. Now, the grand entrance of his real deal kind of guide. He was late in his mind with her. I'm done. So his vision was just to come through to say he misses the vision of love. So he's been with her in her heart in many ways for a while now, because in essence, she couldn't enjoy his music when it would come on the radio or the station that she was listening to, because it was somehow a trigger for some other person that she used to, get along with. And he's saying, don't deny yourself the beauty of my music because someone else thinks that they've got a claim on his heart. There's no one that can claim they have the heart of another. But he's just acknowledging that idea that music connects us to our memories. And sometimes they're not the best, and sometimes they are of like utmost celebration of fun and phantasmic. And he's saying she's going to Disneyland. They used to do those visions of love for our hearts. Now, I want to honor everyone. This is just going to be a short little vision because, in essence, people aren't going to necessarily believe that his vision is the one that's coming through his soul. He was creating another album to be released in the June energy. It will be June of 2026 when that vision comes through that he's thinking about for her. It is more in alignment with the Jewish settlers as well. It's about uniting as one again. And that's a special project for her and him to work on a soul level at some point. His vision is, I need to do another album with my own soul without the band behind me, because in essence I've collided with 2 or 3 of their hearts 10 years ago. We got over all of that stuff. I went on my own and I came back with an understanding about who I was. I was the victim in my mind, right? There's more to be seen from Brenda about his vision of love. So we will keep this in our little, data bank of future predictions for Jon Bon Jovi. He still is in that vision of, I am always with my heart, with my band. But in essence, he's saying she deserves a song in her heart. So he's going to give her a song in his mind and she will hear it. And she's to play that vision for herself. This is souls coming together. They do this for her. She gets those things handed to her sometimes. And they're beautiful visions of love for her heart to know that she's loved on a different kind of level than a lot of souls because of what she put up with. And it's not in the mindset of someone else. It's that her own love for music has been destroyed by a certain soul. And it's not the same as what people assume. It is literally, I cannot go back in time until I can face that vision of his soul creating more work, right? It's not more work. He says it's going to take more work for me to give her the title of the song on screen. Caretakers are going to die when they hear the vision of what that song would say. Create the beauty of blood on the, it's like the blood on the heart. Okay, because that's what he's going to call it. It's like blood on the heart. It's not a bad thing, he says. It's the feeling of the blood in the heart. His soul knows that vision now of when you're in your heart. And people will understand when they go down that path of love that their hearts actually do receive more blood. Okay. And that's the feeling that your soul will give you. And he's going to experience that vision at some point. And he will honor the vision of, now I know the difference. Jesus loves me. It is still there for us to imbibe upon and reach for those of us in the mindset of those who need to go back in time to that place of worship. And he would say, I'm in that vision of it. I still reach for that vision of Jesus as he was. Because he says the man knew more about religion than anybody else he knew. So in his vision, he says, I'm going to try and reach that vision of Jesus and see if I can connect to that heart again. Brenda knows the vision. Her soul knows the vision of Christ as it is versus was. And that's what we have to keep honoring. The expansion of soul is beyond what was. It's still there creating. So let's honor it, take it in our hearts, open up our hearts to our family trees and say thank you for joining us. We'll see about that future prediction of John Bon Jovi. It's his soul. So now we go down that path of love for the soul of soul. Green-eyed monsters come through. If she gets a song written for her heart, it's his song, but he'll know why it was written in honor of it. And that's the process of soul embodiment. So take care. Have a beautiful family reunion. People, don't be afraid to go to your family reunions. It will all get worked out. It will all get worked out. You don't have to be afraid. And you don't have to be afraid of me. I don't hear all your thoughts. I only get what's needed. And it doesn't matter. You're not going to think, oh, well, her soul's going to, hear X, Y, or Z. It doesn't work that way. If there's an issue that we need to work on in the moment, I will get it. But if it's just about us honoring our visions, she will blow your minds when she brings through your soul. Caretakers of the heart, soul sessions. Join me. Join me in a soul session and you're going to see the strength of soul come through. Waverly, by the way, was a message for someone on the January 18th session. It made sense for a soul that I know, who I love and hold dear in my heart. In 2 different realms, it came true. For 2 different souls, myself and my friend. Waverly, Massachusetts was for her. It indeed was for her. It is for her soul to be careful about this one street. And in essence, it was just enough to give her the heads up. Okay? About that vision. It's actually the street that she was working on with a client. Now, Brenda did not know that, and that was there for her. Now, Waverly, Ohio, is a different vision for somebody. It will come through for Brenda because she opened it up to a different form of interpretation. I get several guides coming through with various levels of understanding for one syllable even. Brawn is on the line. What happens if a messenger of love says, I'm sorry, I'm not caretaking of your family tree in the moment? Okay, some people want to hear from their family tree, and others will say, I understand. I don't need to hear from my family tree anymore. I want to know whether I'm the problem. Brenda would say, it's not a problem to be who you are. What I was going through was a direct link between my heart and your heart through your significant other. And in essence, the conflict being created because of what I was doing, not anything anybody else was doing. I created the havoc in my own heart because I said, let me open up to my soulmates. Right? No. It is my best friend, right? One of my best friends, right? Your significant other. And that's the vision of privacy I have to be very careful about. But in essence, that vision was I am creating havoc in her heart. And that is in turn creating havoc in yours. So I understand why you would be blaming me. I take my responsibility for that vision. However, I'm also not here to bullshit people. So if there's someone on the line who says, I get it, I'm not here to cause issues. It's a loving, caring soul. And my heart went to bat for you for years. Your soul will say you did the work that you needed to do. But in essence, they would also, you haven't asked for a soul session, so that's where that vision will come through. You don't want to hear what the vision is of your own soul in public, right? Your soul would come through and say they would honor your vision of love and cherishing of your own heart, because that's where you need to be. Okay? What that does, though, is that when your significant other is getting her soul sessions, she's getting her wisdom handed to her left and right. And it is not exactly what you would want to be dealing with. I open up. I know when things are happening. I get told. I say nothing. I did at the beginning, and then I stopped. And now is when I put my foot down, and I said, I will no longer, as a soul worker, honor the vision of havoc building. So soul building is another vision we're going to be talking about with those family tree members that are on the line. How do we build our souls to a point of love for all souls? And that's why your soul could absolutely come through and say, you're being honored for your love and adoration for souls that don't agree with you. Correct? It doesn't matter. This is the majority of people don't do that. Right? Most people don't create love for people they don't agree with. Your soul... But in essence, that's the nature of it. Okay? We would say, I could give you the lowdown on what I was hearing, but I don't think you want to know, right? And then what? You pop off the screen because it scares the shit out of you. You're going to get the real deal. Right? Your soul literally would honor and love you for taking out the trash. That's what you call it. You say, I'm taking out the trash. It's in there. That's where it's hidden. So that'll let you know what I know. Now, in all honesty, you know how to do the work. Do the work. You've done it before. You can do it again. You're supported in your heart, and your mindset says, I don't want to do that work. And that's why we say we understand. But unfortunately, you're in a relationship where the other person isn't agreeing with you. And that's the strength of soul building. We build our souls up and we understand. I'm not trying to call anyone out on the carpet. This isn't a calling out. It's an understanding of the relationship dynamics that we create with those that we love. It's not love if you're hurting somebody in the mind. right? This is the nature of what we unwind. It is very difficult. And so I honor your vision. You got to hang in there. I was going to say your first name, but I'm just telling you, you just got to hang in there. In essence, don't let any vision that I put through make it seem like you're being called as less than. Your soul will never do that for you. They may say that you would need to do some, it's like the dirty work is being done. He's honoring of that, saying, I get it, I know. Okay. And this was the field of vision was I put a boundary down on my own heart for the sake of my relationship with my best friend. And that's why I'm honoring that vision. I want to honor all souls by saying, I thank you for your loving guidance as we abide by the rules of the road, right? This is about being safe in that mindset of yours about the rules of the road. What are we doing that is not safe on the rules of the road? It's being heard. Okay. So that's why he's crap. Don't worry. I understand. Trust me. I understand more than anybody. Not in that vision. I had my own experience of it many years ago as a teenager. But in essence, I want to say, honor that vision and do better when you know better. Okay, it's not easy. Get off. Okay, so someone said get off the pot. That would be a judgment call from a family tree member. But in essence, it's your soul. It's not going to do you any harm, but it's not going to help you in your mindset with your significant other. It's legal. It's beautiful, right? The majority of the people that are using it may indeed feel that vision of love. It can help in the moment. However, if you want the strength of soul to come through, they will say it's very specific things for certain people. So if I say to someone, get off the pot, it doesn't mean it's for everybody. Okay? And it's for those that are in that vision of I'm on the road. Okay? And I'm driving. So there are specific people who are in that vision of, oh shit, I'm being called out. Literally, it's a case-by-case episode. Now, John Bon Jovi, he's already gone. Okay, in essence, he's not gone. He's taken the back seat because he loves this woman's vision. He was the grand entrance. He says, no, this woman is. Her soul knows how to rock it. Now, in essence, I want to tell you, I love you all. I'm not doing a normal session. I started on the fly. I wasn't sure what I was going to be able to do or how to react to the vision of what I am going through. People are going to notice some stuff about my eyes. You would not believe what I'm dealing with on a physical level for my family tree. Okay, so, but anyways, it doesn't matter. I'm okay. Good to go is where I always say, I'm good to go. Your physicality is still in the struggle mode. You still have the visions of I'm successful, Brenda. I'm successful. I'm successful. I did it. I made that extra effort. I'm successful. And so we would say, that's the spirit, that's the vision of it. That's your soul's growth coming through. I'm successful in it. I can do this vision of love for all souls 10 times a day if I need to. And I would still hear the rejection of 2 or 3 people, minus those who would say, I love this stuff. It's not always for me. Okay. So John Bon Jovi's vision was more about a prediction and also the nature of who his heart was. He was talking briefly about that vision of having an affair in the mindset. It's not an affair like others would, but that vision of we all at one point or another may or may not have those visions of attraction for other souls. Whether or not people act on them is a whole different story. The nature of my soul says, ooh, I'm in love with that vision. He's very good looking, right? He has his heart on his sleeve for us. He says, I was there in my mind, but I made it through that vision just fine. Most people I know are in that vision of, I love this gold, right? It's the gold. People are thinking she's looking gold. Okay. It was an idea of somebody. But anyways, his vision is most likely going to come back in another episode as well. Brenda needs to take a break. She needs to adjust her vision towards love of all. Others will say that was not loving to call anyone out on the carpet. Bull. You come here, you're going to get identified. If you need something, your soul will bring it through for you. And it's not about trying to scare people off. It's about really what's going on. If you've got something going on, you know where to go. I'm scared. That's where someone else I know is. I'm scared again, Brenda. I don't feel the changes yet. It's taking too long in your heart. It can't be rushed, okay? So it's a step-by-step process. The progress is there, you just don't feel it yet. It takes time. Consider yourself gifted. Okay, so it takes that momentum to build on itself. I'm there. I just don't feel it yet. Okay, the strength comes slowly. It may feel like a setback in your mind, but you just take that next step and it becomes part of it. She's all, no, I had a setback again with my mindset. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean you failed. No, I mean I had a setback in my mind. I had another stroke, right? If that's the vision that you're encountering in your mind, or is it the concern that you had? Okay, I'm dealing with someone in my heart who keeps thinking she's having more strokes. It's not who you think it is. Okay, I have multiple people that have had strokes or other issues. Okay, and you're going to be waking up to that vision of what it feels like to wake up into your heart. I'd have to call someone out on the carpet, right? It's not about doing that. When I say that, that's a negative thing. I need to acknowledge the vision of love for John Bon Jovi. And that's the nature of it. So I want to say thank you for allowing me that vision of love for who you are. I also have some visions of love from your caretakers of your heart, your soul, your mind, your bodies. They're all connecting. Okay, all of us are doing that vision of love together. And that's the nature of me going in, seeing if I can adjust. There's an energy adjustment that will happen in your heart. I see you. I see you. I hear you. I honor you. I know you're there. I feel your presence. I can tear down the wall of light. This is the nature of his soul saying, I get the vision of love from a higher vision of light, where you want to help people to reach those visions of love for all souls. We're not meant to do that now. So I want to say thank you for joining us. The light beings are the ones that create havoc in the world, right? Some of them do. Others will greet us at the door of love. I'm honoring of his soul's vision of, I'm in love with my mom, right? He feels that vision of love for a mother. So it's like there's a mother figure in his heart. And when they say that these are those natural abilities for people to kind of get those words mixed up, or they think it is, it's granting acceptance for those souls who have those unconditional love relationships with their family trees. Now I'm hearing visions of love from others. So I want to say thank you again. Honor your hearts, your minds, your souls, your bodies are part of that vision we create with love for them. It can be a struggle, but it's also a joy to realize that I'm making amends in the moment. That's where many will go. I'm just going to make amends in the moment. You just say, I'm sorry in your mind. And you say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And if anyone is hurting in their minds, I would say, I'm sorry. I'm not all that and more for every single person. I can't be everything to everybody. And that's what we have to open our hearts to. We try to be everything for everybody sometimes, and it takes its toll on the body. So this is what I was being told, literally. It would have been a hard day at work for several of us the next day. So now I want to say thank you again. Take care and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Good night.